It's that midday recharge. You're fueling for your soul to get your mind right. Now, along the way, let's just say that the more we try to go about evading, resisting the lesson at hand, the more it presents itself in many different ways. But let's just say that because of where we're at in life, we just don't quite understand what we're going through. Be it that we have come to a place where we're lost, unfamiliar with what's going on around us, and this terrain is different from anything that we have experienced or gone about dealing with in life. No matter how new things may seem, all the answers are right in front of you. And here is why. There's nothing new under the sun. It's only that we go about putting the perception that we are set to be in a position that leaves us wondering, how is it that I cannot go about getting the answer to this question? Lessons come in many different formats. And the different formats that lessons come in, it's just trying to go about teaching you that no matter what you go through, the answer is waiting. But the only way to go about getting this answer, there are certain basic laws that are non-negotiable. According to the good book, the Holy Bible, all who are high will be brought low. All who think they know, life will go about showing you you have much to learn. But arrogance has no place, because when we come from a place of arrogance and believing that we know everything that's happening, we can't go about comforting the answer, because we leave ourselves at a disadvantage because we're not willing to go about listening. Listening is key and imperative to the developmental stage. For when instruction is given, if one does not go about comprehending what was said or what was done, the lesson will be repeated. And in repeating the lesson, it'll show you you have to make that change. Earlier, I wanted to start alive in regards to all disease have a cure. But I know you're probably wondering, like, what the hell is this guy talking about? All disease have a cure. There's a remedy for everything. Now, some remedies take it to the extreme where it forces you to look at life from a different perspective. An alcoholic, he practices alcoholism because alcoholism is a disease. But if we get to the root cause of why this person go about practicing alcoholism, there's a trigger. And with that trigger, it stimulates the need to go about perpetuating a cycle in which a destructive and abusive nature, trying to go about finding relief with not dealing with the problem. You see how arrogance will take us on a ride. But because that person don't want to go about facing the traumas of their day, they will go about substituting a destructive vice just in order for them to go about feeling appropriate for the moment. But the one thing that alcoholics forget, all alcohol do is go about magnifying the problem. And I'm going to show you why. At first inception of that drink, it feels as though all pain is going away. And by me consuming this beverage, it gives me an escape from reality. But the more you consume, the more one becomes lost in their own thoughts in their head because they're not with a sober mind or a consciousness. And before you know it, they drink to the point where they become oblivious to life. But as soon as that alcohol wears off, the first thing that comes to greet them is the trouble that they are trying to go about escaping. But because they did not want to go about addressing that issue, issues such as a hereditary disease, because science teaches us that alcoholism is hereditary. But I have to go about putting this part of the notion in there. And that, yes, certain things you have picked up from your family lineage, but you have to go about making that choice to continue the family line. Even though some of us were not born with having a golden spoon, we get up off our ass and go make it happen. Just because you weren't born into privilege with a maiden servant, that don't mean you're going to stay poor. Choices. The choices we make is conscientious. And that goes about invoking a better way of doing things and looking at things in life. But if we are not making the choices which are healthy, which are disruptive, destructive, and downright abusive, then we are letting our traumas get the best of us. And in letting our traumas get the best of us, we will continue to go about abusing alcohol. We will turn to drugs just so that we could go about feeling better. But unless you make that choice, unless you look that person in the mirror and you go about giving a damn about that person and stop living by excuses, the road you're traveling will be what you're familiar with, because you have not come to that place where being uncomfortable is comfortable. You have not come to that place where it's, let's see where this goes. But because we at times, we hold on to what we know and think that we're doing good, it just goes to show that many of us are scared to go about making that change, that improvement that we need to go about making for ourselves. Now, there are certain aspects in diseases that comes about all diseases are curable, but you have to go about implementing the cure so that that disease does not become a thing in which you go about living by. You see, the world is stigmatized by worrying and believing that the more they go about processing or looking at something, that then they will come up with the answers. But life has a course and a journey of its own. Worrying doesn't help. All it does is go about draining the body. So some of these diseases and illnesses that are the damaging effects of some of the habits that we go about placing upon ourselves with our minds, stressing the body. Stress does nothing but hurt the body. And the more stress you put on the body, the more it has to have an adverse effect in which it goes about displaying it in ways to go about only showing you that what you're doing is not right. Stress leads to anxiety. Now, if only we would go about taking the time and go about implementing these things within our lives, a lot of the complications that mankind is facing, we would not be going about facing as we go along in life. But because we're creatures of habit, and the path that has been paved seems easier and understandable because that's all we know, we join the group and we march on like good soldiers. But if you look at the ones before you and you see how they have gone about turning out, why not make that change and going about doing things from a different perspective? Cure the diseases that are plaguing and coming for you. You are that cure. There's no magic wand. There's no things that goes about doing these things. It's only when you go about seeking that level of understanding, then you will go about freeing yourselves from the things that goes about plaguing you. And what plagues us is that we can't get out of our own way. So we find excuses to go about making ourselves feel better about what's going on around us. But excuses does nothing to go about validating what's happening. Unless you go about doing something about it, life will not go about changing. And unless you make it a point of emphasis, you make it a priority in your life that whatever is hindering you, whatever is plaguing you, whatever is troubling you, that you're going to go about addressing, then it's mere a road. Hey, what it do? You good? All right. So they say chill. So in that, let's make it a point of emphasis that we realize how special we really are, and that we realize how special we really are, and that if we make that change for ourselves and stop living by the seeds of excuses, then it will be better for us. And it being better for us, then we go about doing it. what we're supposed to go about doing in life. So let it be that your next move is your best move. Don't abuse yourself, but treat yourself. Make sure that every day you get up, you greet yourself, and you go say to self, you know what? You a bad mother, so that it be you look forward to making that change that you need to go about making, because nothing is at a standstill. For even the plants, they came into existence as a seed. Now they grow taller than buildings, but they embrace the process of evolution and change. You can't get better if you want to stay the same. You must do things that will go about bringing change in your life. What happened to you yesterday, it's a shame. Some people are abusive. Some people are just rotten and worthless. But don't let that put a stain on how you go about moving. Elevation of thoughts, the purity at heart will go about showing you that in time you will go about receiving the blessing that God has put in place. Only know that you have the cure within you for you to go about curing these things which goes about plaguing you. So the things you must do is let go of the excuses so that you may know what to do and not hold yourself hostage to the things that you used to do. Validation only comes by our actions and what we go about doing. A lot of people are going to talk. A lot of people got a lot of things to say. But if we look at the world, majority of the world talking worthlessness. And it's on full display. So just come to know, you could go to the fountain, but you got to be the one to drink, because can't nobody quench your thirst. And better or worse, just realize that change sometimes, that shit really hurts. Because the more you change, the more uncomfortable it will be. But change is for you. It's not for you, your friend. It's not for your cousins. It's not for none of them. All that change is just for you. So quit making excuses. Come to terms with whatever triggers, whatever the hell is bothering you, so that you may go about embracing a peace that is beyond reproach. And in comforting that peace, it will let you know that you are that cure that you've been searching for. You see, the pharmaceutical companies only going to tell you that the things they give you just go about bringing more problems than it's worth. But it's a business. It's not about a love for human care. Because if it was, they would have been told you how to go about curing you from what you're going through. But all they care about is the bottom line, making $1 and promoting the ideology that they come to save you. The truth of the matter is, only you know what to do, because the answer has been placed inside you at the point of the agreement when you made to come through. Everything that you need, you already have. Unwrap the gift. Use your tools so that you may go to work and make prosperity become a part of you. You see this dog? It has not a care in the world. It only knows but to be a dog. It does not worry about yesterday. It does not worry about tomorrow. It just enjoys each moment, living as though it's its last. We don't know the future, but we know what we've been through. Make it so that the path you're going is not what you've been through. And then you will see that the choice you need to go about making is only when you go about humbling yourself and allowing life to go about showing you. That is the key. So everybody has trauma, but only a few will go about finding the cure. Just make sure that when life comes, you are ready to open that door. And in opening that door, it makes it so that whatever you go through, seek out the strength that you may endure. And by enduring these things, it will help you find that cure to what's plaguing you. And these are words I hope that you go about living by. If there's anything that you seek in understanding, put words in the comments. Share these videos so that others may come to the same conquest in which they go about seeking. Everybody's teaching. There's so many preaching. But value comes when you could go about applying these things in every step that you go about taking. So we must look for the value in things, which goes about promoting a strength to harness within. Everybody feel they know, but I'm here to let you know. Deception is broad because there's many who come to play tricks. Misery loves company, so be careful of the company you keep. Only that you know it's better not to stay asleep because things is happening. So look twice before crossing the street because traffic is heavy. There's so many things moving around you and me. Caution your steps. Pray as you go forth so that you may come to know the lesson that was brought forth was only to go about showing you that you are more than you will ever know. Don't comfort the idea that you are less than, but embody the movement that you are part of this plan. You are part of this plan that was put in place. You're here for a reason. You're here for a purpose. But the only way to go about fulfilling your purpose is to go about getting to know yourself, working from within so that you can find your place in what it is that you're supposed to go about doing. So let it be that I leave you with peace and prosperity. My blessing, my love. One.